So as the ERP guy, I didn't care that much about other Dynamics products besides the core ERP for corporate business. Meaning, I don't know. So due to this massive fuzz around Power Platform, I started reading about this Power Apps, low-code, no-code approach, etc. And that was the first place where I saw this thing called Dataverse. But to be frank, it didn't catch my attention at all. It seemed it was like simply a database for Power Platform. Not a big deal. And then it turned out it was a big deal. And let me tell you, digging deeper into that topic just opened a new universe for me. Welcome to MacDrive, a podcast where I want you to get as much value as possible. During my years of working within the IT world and enterprise resource planning systems, I noticed that this area seemed to be unknown and overwhelming for most people. I consider myself lucky to meet great mentors who taught me how to grow a satisfying career in this field. Also, I was able to build it with no degree in IT. I've graduated as a social worker, and I truly believe anybody can learn what an ERP is and grow that knowledge to the point of getting a fun and well-paid job. Dial in if you want to get more understanding of what these systems bring to the business world, or you'd like to get more information on what possibilities and value this particular area of IT can bring to you. So coming back to the story, at my ERP daily job, months went by and this one particular day I got asked about the integration between ERP with Dynamics 365 CRM product, meaning Dynamics 365 sales. So I continued with my standard operating procedure, meaning Googling the thing out. And yeah, that was the moment when the Dataverse thing came back, and it came back as a boomerang. So reading through the documentation, etc., turned out that to connect Dynamics ERP with Dynamics CRM, the go-to solution is integrating the ERP database with the Dataverse. So why though? So the important thing to understand is that we're talking about CRM, not the Power Platform. And in the beginning, I told you that, yeah, the Dataverse is kind of a backbone, the backend of Power Platform. Remember? Now, it turns out that Dynamics 365 sales database is in Dataverse. And this made me think. So I remember as today, I digged deeper, sitting in the late evening while the drops of rain were gently hitting the window on the left side of my desk. And I was trying to figure out, okay, so what's the backend of Dynamics 365 CRM-related apps? So something that we at Microsoft call customer engagement apps. All right, so what's the backend of Dynamics 365 sales? Dataverse. What's the backend of Dynamics 365 customer service? Dataverse. What's the database of Dynamics 365 field service? Yeah, again, Dataverse. Customer insights? Dataverse. And you know where it's going, right? Turned out that all of Dynamics 365 software, excluding ERP, is using Dataverse. Now you might be thinking like, why is it so big and why am I just even telling you this story? Well, imagine 10 applications using same tables, same data, sharing same fields. What does that imply? Think about it. It means that the same database can have multiple different front ends. So in our case, it's those Dynamics 365 apps. So it's the same environment. So there's no need of integration development whatsoever because the backend is the same. The tables are the same. The fields even are the same. And trust me, that's massive, especially for anybody who had the chance to work at any integration project. Okay, so coming back to my story, during that one evening of revelation, let's say, I realized that I was behind for a long time. And I was behind big time. Since F&O, the ERP, was and still is floating in a different database. So I didn't care that much about any Dataverse thingy. And well, as you might notice, I should have got my interest in this Dataverse thing way faster. But thankfully, that doesn't mean it's floating alone completely away from other Dynamics goodies. Because hear me out, Microsoft created something called dual write. Dual write is, simply speaking, a go-to out-of-the-box integration bridge between ERP database and the Dataverse apps. And now again, I want you to focus and think about everything and the whole picture that I painted for you. It's a big one, not only for Dynamics. Remember I told you about the Power Platform in the beginning. And this Power Platform consists Power Apps and Power Automate. So in short, Power Apps is this low-code, no-code technology that allows a super fast and easy creation of applications. And then Power Automate is Microsoft's go-to integration tool, which consists around 1,000 out-of-the-box connectors with market's most popular apps, databases, and services. Plus, it's possible to create your own custom connectors with any application you want, basically. Now, this means, especially for all you ERP people, if there's anything you need to add to the system or integrate it with anything, it's 100% worth considering using the Dataverse connection instead of customizing the ERP itself. Because remember, this whole Power Platform stack is using Dataverse exactly in the same way as Dynamics 365 customer engagement, meaning the CRM-related apps. And coming back to the ERP world, the customization can become a massive hassle. Of course, it still might be a better choice to make a customization directly in the system, but what I'm saying is it's always nice to have an option, and this option is big. And again, if you think about it, this Dataverse thing is actually opening a universe of possibilities, especially for this kind of a closed ERP approach. Because this dual write thing actually opens the door to this Power Platform, Dataverse, Power Automate thing. Imagine integrating your Dynamics ERP with CRM, Teams, Gmail, eBay, Jira, you name it. And with a few clicks, you can do that instead of having a whole separate project for each connection. And in practice, it looks like, okay, you have your Dynamics 365 ERP system, you enable the dual write, you have your Power Platform environment, which is connected with this ERP through dual write, and within Power Platform and within Dataverse, you can connect with any other Dynamics 365 app because all of them has the same backend. And through this Power Automate, you can use those out of the box or create custom connectors. And that is significant, or at least worth considering, right? Okay, to sum it up, Dataverse is a data backend for Power Platform and Dynamics 365 applications. However, Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations ERP is not using Dataverse as database. However, there's an out-of-the-box integration service called Dual Write that gives possibility to connect ERP with Dataverse native apps directly, meaning you can enhance the ERP experience with Power Apps and any other application from Dynamics 365 stack, or use the Power Automate and its 1,000 pre-made connectors, or create your own connector. And that's freaking outstanding, especially comparing to the approach that was a standard just a few years ago, which turned out to be old school these days. Okay guys, thank you very much for joining today. We'll continue next week, and as always, stay consistent. Peace. Just a quick one. As you've heard in the intro, my goal here is to give as much value as I can to my listeners, and I'm giving away the best stuff and secrets I've learned through my whole career, and I'm sharing or trying to share what's new and exciting. With that in mind, I figured that the more people I can reach, the higher are the chances of good stuff to help somebody. So it's kind of like pure statistics and probability, right? So I have one shameless ask to you as you listen. If you could rate the show on whichever platform you use and share it with your friends or enemies, that would mean the world to me. And with each click, the chance of reaching someone who will benefit from the stuff that I talked about grows. So thank you in advance.